Hello. Excuse me. Hello, everyone. It's been a while. A couple of weeks now, actually. What is everyone up to? So for anyone that doesn't know, my name is Shashank. I'm a data analyst working in Seattle, Washington. And I do this live stream typically every Thursday and Friday. The last couple of weeks I haven't been doing them because I was working on a major project, machine learning for beginners. And in this live stream, I basically answer any questions you might have about the world of analytics. Hello, Baki Billa. Hey, Priyank. Great to see you guys again. Hey, Pranav. Great to see you again. Yes, I do. 8 years old, right? You're the really young guy that's busy building neural networks and stuff. We are drinking, what do you call it? Instant coffee today. What's up, Unique? Thank you for joining. Hey, Nalija. Oh, I think you did. Okay, let's see. Let me see. You did. You just did. Okay. Let me accept that. Put in the primary. Thank you so much for letting me know. If you send me a message on Instagram, and you ever get the chance to, send me if you are able to get onto this live stream, let me know that you sent a message through Instagram, and I'll respond to you. Sorry, I just get so many messages that I have to, I kind of have an arbitrary system for, prioritizing who I respond to, but Knowledge, I'll definitely respond to you because, you show up to these live streams and everything, so I will message you soon. All right, everyone. Well, let's start getting those questions in. I'll only be on for about 30 minutes today. I overslept, quite honestly. I need to work on my sleeping habits. So yeah, whatever questions you might have, feel free to leave them down in the section below. Please make sure that you like this video and subscribe to my channel. We're almost at 60,000 viewers, and we're really looking to get to 60,000 subscribers, and we're looking to get to 100,000 at some point in time. Before I get started, I would like to, first of all, have a shameless plug for my new course, Machine Learning for Beginners. It's the reason I haven't been on live streaming for the past couple of weeks. It's because I've been working on this. This is the first course that I've had as a sponsored course in partnership with DeepNote, which is a really cool platform. That's kind of like Google Colab, but with more features. And it's an independent company working on it. I found that when you have these independent companies working on a project, they tend to do better with it than large companies like Google and stuff, where there's a billion different priorities, and sometimes people just they're not at all concerned with running leanly, and especially you don't Google. Google is dropping stuff all the time. So feel free to check out my machine learning course above. It's brand new. Go ahead and give it a like if you could, please. And if you want these notes, the notes are part of the course too. They're available over here. So I will put that over there. All right, so let us get started with answering people's questions over here. So, yes, Pranav, I do remember you. We are drinking instant coffee. Okay, so Shubham Das, I have a year gap between my bachelor's and my master's. Will it affect me getting a job as a fresher? So I will always say that I'm guessing that you're based in India based on the BSc, MSc, because we usually call them BSs and MSs in the U.S. So I will always say I only have experience working in the United States. So take that into consideration, because the U.S. market seems to work very differently from the Indian market. My understanding, from what I've heard, is that the Indian market is really credentials based, and a lot more competitive than the American one in that way. People are just really into credentials. I personally would not look too hard at why someone took a gap between their bachelor's and their master's, as long as they are able to pass the technical interview in front of me right now. Whatever gap they took doesn't really matter. I think had you asked me, 2 years ago, I would have been no, you need to be working all the time. But then the older I get, it's been 2 years, but the older I get, the more I realize that life's not all about working, and that year gap could, people could be doing an infinite number of, honestly, even more productive things than working in that year gap. So Shubham, if I was the one hiring you, I would not care about that gap. That being said, I can't speak for the average hiring manager in what I presume is India. So I do have to provide that note. Pre-Unc Vlogs, is it a paid course? No way. It is free. 100% free. It's on YouTube. I put the link over there. So Pre-Unc, it is a 100% free course. Let us see what is next. Hey, Paulos, great to see you. Great to see you. Okay, I just want to see if there were any other questions about the course. So, Unique, thank you so much for joining. Feel free to leave any questions you might have. Grand Sing Music, great to see you. Great to see you. Yes, Unique, go ahead and ask your questions. Where can we find the notes? I linked them below. How to practice various... so, Samir, go to hackerrank.com. They have a lot of great practice on SQL queries specifically. Yes, Andrew Hale. Yes, we have the Quality Brew over here. So, I'm actually at my parents' house right now, but when I go back to my apartment in Seattle, the apartment complex gives free coffee every single day, and it's like this really nice brew. So, when we get back to the live streaming from my apartment, I will show that to you guys. Bharat, well, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Prerequisites for deep learning. Usually you have to know some language. Python is what I would recommend. Yeah, you have to know Python. I would say deep learning is interesting. I'm kind of the opinion that, like, unless you're in school, right? If you're, like, working actively and you're trying to efficiently learn, because when you're in school you can inefficiently learn because your whole job is to learn. But if you're, like, in the workplace and you need to efficiently learn because, like, learning is not your primary job, then I would say deep learning, I mean, unless you have an actual use case for it, I don't think it's particularly useful. It can be really useful if you have a use case for it. That's the important thing, right? And so the prerequisites for it, I think, are you have a basic understanding of machine learning and Python. If you know those two things, then you'll be fine. Pranav, great to hear it. I'm glad you started a company. John Tidor, hey, I know Python, Pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib. Should I apply for a job? So John Tidor, like, what type of job do you want? So, guys, I highly recommend when you're asking these questions, try and give as much information as possible. So when, for example, you say, I want to apply for a job, like, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Like, do you want to apply for a job as a data scientist, a data analyst, maybe, something else in software entirely? Hey, Peace, great to see you. Thank you so much for joining. It's people that come regularly and new people that really make this channel grow. So everyone, make sure you subscribe if this is your first time here, please. Hey, bro, I'm doing a bachelor's in supply chain. Awesome. Supply chain is really cool. I want to integrate with machine learning. Can you guide me regarding that? There is this great guy on LinkedIn you should follow. I don't know what his name is. Oof. Let's see. There is this guy I follow that just has, like, great advice. How do I see people that I follow? Oh, and by the way, guys, if you don't mind, so I release a lot of great content on my LinkedIn as well. So be sure to follow me over there. Like, I'll, like, announce courses and stuff like that on the LinkedIn. So I think, can I look for it over here? Oh, you can't search. Can you not search your... Oh, title. Okay. Those are really bad. Those are really, like... I'm trying to find who I was talking about. He might not be a connection. He might just be some guy I follow. Ah, Nicholas Vanderput. That's him. Yeah. So if you're doing supply chain work, this guy is awesome to follow. Highly, highly, highly recommend him. So, Mohammed, I highly recommend following the guy who I just linked in the chat below. Hey, bro, where can I practice SQL? So, Samir, yes, HackerRank. Hey, Aditya, great to see you. Great to see you. Yes, follow me on LinkedIn, please. I'm trying to see who else I am missing. Is Python essential for machine learning? I would think so. Well, I mean, it depends on what you want to do, right? Like, in my opinion, you want to be able to execute machine learning algorithms. Or, well, if you want to be able to execute machine learning algorithms, then I would say, yes, you do need to know Python. Or R. R works too, but I think I would go with Python if I were you. Yeah. Let's go back and answer some questions. Is there a way to amalgamate repetitive Excel pivots with Python? Every quarter I run the same Excel report and pivot the data, know how it's changed from last quarter, and add it to the historic tables. Yeah. So this is exactly what Python is like excellent for. And what I use it for. There is a job I need to do that requires like a lot of like Excel pivots and stuff, and I just like made a Python script that does it for me it does it once for me every month. So to answer your question, yes, there very much is a way to do that. What you would probably do is create a Python notebook and run your pivots through that. If you want to know like specifically how to like learn what are like some basic data operations in Python, then go to my channel, go to videos, go all the way to the bottom and look for Python for data analysts. Oh wow, that's literally my third. I did not know that was my third video. Okay. So Python for data analysts, check this out, Mr. Singh. And this will help you, or well, I don't know if you're a Mr. or Mrs., sorry. So Grand Music Sing, check this out. That will teach you all of the basic pivots you need to know in order to use it. Yes, ma'am, Paula, thank you so much for reminding everyone. All right, trying to see if there's anyone else I need to follow up a response to. Doesn't look like there is. Okay, so MP. Oh, hey, great to see you again, MP. I'm trying to decide a project that I got my hands on, a data set representing crime in a city. What would you try to do with this data set? Okay. Well, what are the features in the data set? This is kind of what I mean by like specific, right? Like I need to know like what else is like, I need to have a little bit more information. So what are the features you have in your data set, MP? We're going to get free projects for Tableau. Usually Tableau, I would just go to a government website, grab some data, and then visualize it. That's what I would do. That kind of is what a Tableau project is. So, MD Atikul Islam. Hey man, I am in my third year of university life pursuing my marketing major. I'm planning to change my career. Can you give me some tips on how I can pursue my career in data analyst? Okay, I would recommend learning Python, SQL, and Tableau, or Power BI. And Python could be replaced with R as well. Learn those technologies, and then start applying for data analytics jobs in marketing. That's what I would recommend, MD. Assailant. What is the most advanced stats/math class you took in college? Have you ever needed to know? I just took Stats 101. My college experience... nothing I use from my degree has helped me like in the workplace. I got a degree in chemistry and I'm doing something completely different. Spent a lot of money on that degree, so you know I have mixed feelings about it. But yeah, for me it was just Stats 101. I learned anything else I learned. I did it by myself outside of my job now, and that's kind of where like learning in school is very different from learning on the job, because when you're learning in school, your job is to learn. So like getting a very solid foundation, learning a really wide variety of things is a really great way to learn when you're in school. When you're in the workplace, you know your learning has to drive results for anyone to actually like care about it. So that's why when you learn as a working adult, a lot of the learning will be heavily targeted, and that's where I found like the biggest impact I've been able to drive for companies, and the biggest benefit I've been able to derive for myself is when I learn very specific technologies that are particularly useful. Hey, Simfiwe Umbokati. Would you be able to tell me how do you pronounce your name? I'm Simfiwe. I know you've been on the live stream before, but thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining. Yeah, if you join the YouTube membership, then you get like a special thing in the what do you call it, in the live stream chat. So, hey, Raw Vlogs, great to see you. I'm doing really well. Ambar Kumar, machine learning is generally not necessary to become a data analyst. Yeah, no, it's not. Praveen Pandey, tips for interviewing for Nordstrom data scientist position. Ace your technical interview, so make sure your Python skills are top notch. They don't test SQL as much. They don't test Tableau as much, but Tableau is the technology that we use, so make sure you know Tableau as well. But like Python's really what they like are looking for data scientists to know. Is it a data scientist 2 or data scientist 1 position, or senior? Paulus Pix also recommends learn SQL. Good, great shout out, Paulus. Let's see. Let me see if I can catch up on some questions. Iman Hadi. I'm an actuarial science student. Should I just skip masters and focus on Python and other skills instead? Well, what would you get your master's in? I debate the value of a master's degree, quite honestly. I'm not going to say it's not valuable, because at the end of the day, most data scientists I know do have master's degrees. Like, it's not even, like, I actually, like, would probably count on one hand the number of, like, data scientists I know that don't have master's degrees. That being said, do I believe it's necessary to become a data scientist? Not really, and I don't even think it's efficient, quite honestly. So it depends on what you want to do. If you want to become a data scientist, I think getting a master's degree will drastically improve your chances of becoming a data scientist. If you want to become a data analyst, then you do not need a master's degree at all. Aman Khan recently subscribed to your channel. Well, thank you so much. New subscribers, old subscribers, any subscribers, you guys are really helping out. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, everyone. Is data analysis a very tech-focused field? I'm an economics student and would like to know how to get started in the field so I can apply for entry-level internships. It doesn't have to be. I think a lot of data analysts want it to be a tech-focused channel. I mean, a tech-focused field, because tech is where like a lot of money and stuff is, and a lot of like attention is. But in my organization, in my team, we have a lot of people who are like biology students. We have a lot of people who like have PhDs in the natural sciences. And so Aman Khan, economics is actually one of the best degrees to get, in my opinion, if you want to get into data science and analytics, because economics is all about trying to bring math to things that are fundamentally not very precise, such as the economy. If you think about it, right, how do you it's about measuring very imprecise things like the economy. Like, we talk about the economy as if we know exactly how it works, but like really no one actually knows how it works, right? Like, at least like at like a very core deep level. That's not to say people don't have ideas of how it works and like basic theories that can like be directionally correct, but like down to like this always happens, like, you know, I mean, it's the study of human behavior to an extent. So I think economic students are actually very well equipped to handle data analytics. And this is advice I would give to everyone. Honestly, with enough spin, you can make any experience sound relevant to data analytics. And that's what I highly recommend to people. It's a talent that I have in like spinning things to make them sound like they make sense in like when I'm in interviews. And I would highly recommend, like, if you have a degree that you don't think is particularly useful, get out of that mindset and really think about, okay, how can I make this sound like it's relevant to what I'm doing? Will it work all the time? No, not at all. You know, it's not a magic bullet by any means, but I do think that the ability to spin something to be relevant to data analytics is a skill that's worth developing. And analytics is such a broad field that I think it's perfectly legitimate to try that, you know? Anyan Weib, have you recommendations for data sets on Kaggle, for example, specific tests and data? Go on to Kaggle competitions. Those are where the best data sets are. There is specifically a data set I was looking at yesterday that I thought was quite good. Yes, there's specifically a data set that I thought was quite good. Oh, wait, no, not data. Go to competitions, and then go down to... God damn it. And then go down to store sales time series forecasting. I thought this was an excellent data set. So, Anyan, to answer your question, that's what I would recommend. What are steps and skills to become data analyst? Learn Python, learn SQL, learn Tableau. I have free courses for all of those on my channel. Go search them on my channel. I also have a machine learning course right now, and I have a basic stat. I kind of have a basic stats course. Yeah, that's kind of what I recommend. Yeah, okay. Hey, I am currently taking a Google Data Analytics course on Coursera. Awesome, it's a great course. I want to quit my job. What's the best way to transition into data analysis? If you work for a bank, just try looking for a job within the bank. I would highly recommend doing that. Like, see if you can have an internal transfer. Those are usually a lot easier. And talk to the boss that is in charge of the analytics job you want, and say, hey, I've taken this course, I have these projects. Like, you can send them emails directly. So I would recommend an internal transfer if you can do it. And hopefully you don't work at one of those companies where people are like snitching on each other and they're like, that guy goes and emails your boss. Like, I haven't worked at a company that's like that so far. But I can't pretend that like there aren't companies like that. So, you know, that's what I would do, but that's what I would do knowing that my companies are quite, you know, people are reasonable. Someshwar Capgate or Cupgate? How do you pronounce that? I got a data science internship, and thanks to you for uploading such amazing content. Well, thank you so much, Someshwar. I love hearing people getting internships and jobs. That's the whole point of this channel. I want you guys to get internships and jobs. I want to make it very clear, this channel isn't an academic one. I don't at all claim to be an academic channel, and I think that if you're looking to like really get deep into data science and analytics, that's not really what I'm trying to do on this channel. My whole goal for this channel is to get people jobs. That's like the only thing I'm trying to do in this channel. And I'm trying to give people the skills they need to get the jobs that they want. And that's kind of why, if you like look at my courses, they're not super in-depth, but that's kind of the point, right? I don't think you need to go super in-depth to get a job. And so I want to make that very clear. That's kind of the goal of my course. Jobs. Not saying the academic stuff is super useful too. It's not what I'm focused on. All right, we had a couple of new questions. Let us see. Skeptic Bubble. I recommend that you go to LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a great source for that. Hey, Wayhan, great to see you again. I have an interview with Google coming up next week. Do you know what a product manager role would use SQL for? So, okay, a product manager would use SQL because they want to, usually to understand customers. So they want to know how, the data exists, right? And by knowing SQL, the product manager can go and get access to data and can check their assumptions of what's important for the product without going and asking a bunch of analysts over and over again, hey, does that work? Does that work? Or how does this work? How does that work? So that is what a product manager would use SQL for, to answer their own questions as to what is important for the development of their product. Shoaib, hello. Troy R, great to hear it. Love it. New job. Everyone congratulate Troy R for his new job. Also, Neelaja, is it okay to do the same project using two different softwares like both Tableau and Python? Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. I 100% think it's okay. It shows proficiency in multiple softwares. So, okay. Simpiway, the H is silent. Okay, cool. Currently studying computer science. Want to become a data scientist. Thank you so much, Simpiway. Yeah, so for anyone that's not aware, I am on a quest to become a data scientist without a master's degree, because, if I started my master's degree tomorrow, I'd have to, it would take a year and a half to 2 years. So, Simpiway, great to hear it. Ali Reza, have you watched any of my Python videos? I have a couple of Python data cleaning videos. Those are great ways to improve your Python skills. What aspects of Python should I focus on? If you go ahead and check out that course, I posted the Python course. It'll have all the skills that you need to practice, and it comes with a bunch of notes as well. Vumsy. Recently got my first job as a data science analyst at a bank. I mainly use SQL and QuickView. Data science master to get a data scientist job, or should I apply for data science to my job internally, become a data scientist, and use that experience? Yeah, I would. So this is the method I'm going, Vumsy. I'm doing this over here. Again, it depends on what country you're operating in. My understanding is, for example, people working in a lot of Asian countries, education is so arbitrarily important in those countries that people won't even look at people that don't have certain degrees. Whereas in the U.S. you can kind of get away with it. So yeah. Neelaja, I stepped away to make a cup of coffee, so you may have answered this, but are you still reviewing portfolios? You know what? What I think I'm going to do, okay, I need to kind of organize the totality of all of my things. There are a couple of things I think I want to do. Before these live streams, I think I want to have a Google form or a Twitter out there that where people can submit their portfolios prior, and I can pick one to review during that live stream. And because you can't send me stuff through the YouTube chat, so I think that's not going to work. So how about this? Everyone, here are a couple of things I would recommend you do. Go to my LinkedIn and follow my LinkedIn, because if I'm going to make an announcement, it's going to be over there. So follow my LinkedIn, and then my Twitter as well. What I think I'm gonna do, because YouTube has like really bad tools for like actually like contacting like your subscribers. Follow those two. What I think I'm gonna do is post something asking for people to turn in their portfolios, and then I'll pick one and go over it maybe once a week or something like that. You know, I think that's what we're gonna. I want to do a little bit more during these live streams and then just answer questions, especially because we get a lot of like repeat questions, which is totally fine. We have like new people on the live streams, but I would like to do something that like the people who regularly show up to the live streams, like it's like new for them as well. So that's what we're gonna be going for. All right, guys. So I have to call it quits today. I do apologize. I got a bit woke up a bit late today. How to build a resume. I have a video for that on my... Do you guys have any ideas of how I can like make it easier for you guys to search my videos? Because I have videos for a lot of the questions that people are asking. And I want to be able to make it easy for people to like search my videos. So if you have any questions, feel free to like leave them down in the comment section below. So if you want a good resume, check out this video over here. And of course. And then if you wanted to see the Python video, that is over here. And I think put the links to those videos in the description box of every video. That's a good idea. I'm going to do that. Oh, on Twitch you can create commands that output the link to the video. Hey, so does anyone like think it would be a good idea for me to get onto Twitch? Does anyone see any benefit to me getting onto Twitch? The only reason I never did Twitch is because my understanding is Twitch's terms of service say that I can't post, like I can't stream to Twitch and YouTube at the same time, and I can't post anything I do on Twitch onto YouTube for like 90 hours or something like that, or like some number of hours or something like that. So does anyone have any like opinions on like if it makes any sense to get onto Twitch or not? Because I mean I'm more than happy to, but I mean I have such an audience on YouTube, I don't really see the point of doing it unless it makes so much sense, a lot more sense to do so. So I'll give people a couple of minutes to answer that question, and let me see if I can answer like a question beforehand. Let's see. Oh, hey Rahul, great to see you. Data scientists know computer vision or NLP or deep learning. I think having a basic overview of NLP and deep learning is really good. Computer vision is usually something that like a job will very specifically ask you to know. Like generally, like a generalized data scientist would not have to know that, but like NLP and deep learning are so widely applicable to so many different things that I would say a data scientist should like try and pick those up. Does Google require machine learning in order to become a data analyst in Google? I honestly have no idea. I would look at if you're asking a question this specific, I would say go look at the job description of the specific job you're looking for. Normally, data analysts don't have to know machine learning, but it changes from job to job. Mac versus PC for data science. I'm very much a Mac guy. I have a PC because it's cheaper. So, as you'll find, you might realize I'm a fairly frugal guy. So, I have a PC because it's significantly cheaper than a equivalently graphically intensive MacBook, but I'm very much a MacBook guy. That being said, I'm saving up for a really special car, hopefully that I can get next year. The only problem is parking in Seattle is like $300 a month. So, you know, it's kind of like, do I want to spend that much on just parking? Who knows? Best way to analyze qualitative data. Oof, that's a tough one. One hot encoding. Let's go. Can Yaman, what do you think about Tableau versus Power BI? Which should be best and why? So the advice I give people: go look at the market in which you're going to go get a job in. So for example, for me, it would have historically been the Dallas market. Go to LinkedIn jobs and go look at all the jobs that require Power BI or Tableau, and do like an informal poll and see which one is more popular and learn that one. Both tools are great. I think Power BI doesn't work on Macs, which I think is a bit of a problem. I think Power BI improves a lot faster than Tableau does, but Tableau is more established in the industry. But Power BI is also a lot cheaper and comes with Microsoft licensing that you can get with like Office 365 anyways. Like it's like an addition basically to an Office 365 license. So long story short, from a data analyst perspective, I think it's like the same thing basically. Like you're talking about like minor differences that don't really even matter in my opinion. And I don't think either I don't think that's a space there is a lot of competition to be had right now. So if you're asking which one you should learn, go look at the jobs in the geographic market you're specifically like worried about and see which one's more popular and learn that one. But I think that they're basically the same thing. You know, and neither significantly better than the other one. So yeah, that's just my kind of my opinion on that. Do you have something regarding data visualization in general? No, but I think that's actually an excellent idea, Cody. I'm definitely gonna I think I will make a course on that. At what age did you become a data analyst? 23. So I graduated college and I didn't have a job for about a year. I graduated at 22 and I didn't have a job for about a year. So yeah, I don't know if anyone knows that. I was unemployed after college for about a year. I couldn't find a job at all. So yeah, I became a data analyst at age 23. Hey, Mala, great to see you. I'm using a Asus Zephyrus M16. Asus Zephyrus M16. All right. JS, I've never seen Node.js used personally. That being said, I read a book called Data Science for Dummies, and they keep talking about, D3JS and that, right? So they talk about it in that, but like in the field, in corporate America, I've never actually seen a data scientist or analyst use it. People just use Tableau because it's a lot easier, or Power BI. So yeah. All right. From which country you get the most people to watch? I get the most people from India, I think. India and the United States switch constantly. And I would also say... So it's interesting. India and the United States switch constantly, but I get significantly more money from the United States. So what happens is when you're talking with a lot of YouTubers, right? So like Ali Abdaal mentioned this in one of his videos too. You need to have like 5 times as many viewers from India to match the amount of money you'll get from like a fraction of that number of viewers from like the Western world. So while the greatest number of my viewers are from India, if I rank it by revenue generated and like from like AdSense, India's like number 9 or something. So it's interesting because like viewership is one metric, but then revenue is like another metric. But then at the same time, when someone comes and like asks me for sponsorship, right? We negotiate because I actually have another sponsor coming up for a video, and that's thank you so much to you guys. This channel is growing, and we're actually getting like real sponsors, which is really helpful. But when sponsors look at like how much like to pay me for my videos, they look at total viewership. So on that end, at the end, like the viewers from India and the viewers from the United States are worth the exact same amount, you know, for that calculation. So there's a couple of different ways to like look at it, you know. It's really, really interesting. 60 FPS in Cyberpunk, yeah, as long as I do medium or high settings. So let's see. Saving it for that Lambo in the background. One day. I've actually, you know what? Like, as I've gotten older, I've actually just been less interested in, like, Lamborghinis, honestly. I used to love Lamborghinis as a kid. And the Diablo is still, like, one of my favorite cars ever. But I'm just, like, way more into, like, I guess more attainable cars. And maybe that's why, you know, like, as you get older, you start to realize that, like, you know, if I lived at my parents' house for the next 3 years, I could buy a Lamborghini. Like no joking, I could actually buy a Lamborghini. Like if I did nothing, I spent no money, and I lived at my parents' house, I could buy a Lamborghini. but the point being made is that like these cars, like you can get them, but it requires so much sacrifice that it's like not worth it. So in order to get it without like that insane amount of sacrifice, you have to make an insane amount of money. So I think one day I mean, maybe I will get a Lamborghini, but I think it's so far removed from like my ability to make money right now that I'm more into like, you know, like Corvettes and stuff like that. Cars that are a bit more into, that can like, are a bit closer to what I'm doing. All right. Neelaja, okay. Yeah, no, well, I mean, and that's the interesting thing. My understanding is that the market is really beneficial for graduates right now, or like anyone that's looking for a job. But obviously, you know, like, you know, correct me if I'm wrong. No, I didn't have a job for about a year. And that was because, well, I mean, there were a bunch of reasons, right? But it was also like, that was when unemployment was like at its lowest, basically. But yeah, I mean, if you watch football, right? If you watch like American football, you'll know like Bill Belichick. He's like the coach for the New England Patriots, and he has a saying called "trust the process." Basically, don't obsess over a goal. Have a goal, figure out a process that will reasonably get you there, and just execute on that process over and over again, and trust the process. Obsessing over the achievement of the goal will only make you disappointed when you don't achieve that goal immediately. And so trusting the process is a great way to get the results you want and have a mentally like good, like clear thought process while going there. So that's what I'd recommend. Oh, hey, what's up, Samir Ranjan? Thank you so much. How to make portfolio projects for a data analyst. I would say, did you do CS in college? I did chemistry. Go to a government website, download a bunch of data, clean it up, and start asking yourself questions. So, for example, what I like to do is I'm really into cars. I love cars, right? So I go to the NHTSA's official website, the National Highway Transportation and Security, or Transportation and Safety Administration, and I go to their website and I downloaded a bunch of crash test data, and I started asking myself, okay, like which manufacturer is better, which manufacturer has more, is safer, which manufacturer sells more cars, stuff like that. So go ahead and just keep asking yourself questions one after another, and you will eventually get to a point. You will eventually get to a point where you are asking yourself question after question, and that's what I highly recommend that you do. So like you ask yourself, you'll be able to transition from question to question and get to a point where you can accurately start developing analyses for like the different questions you're asking. So it's all about getting a data set, asking yourself questions, and going one after another. And that's what I kind of think is a good idea in reference to trying to like develop a project. And that's why, for example, I like me and other experienced people in the field usually don't like recommend projects to people. We recommend finding something that you're interested in and then asking yourself question after question in order to get there. And the reason you want to do that is because when you talk about a project, you want to be able to talk about it with passion, and you want to be able to talk about it like in depth, and you want it to be something unique. Like I've had people come up to me with their analysis of the Titanic data set, and I'm like, I mean, yeah, like, but I don't know if you didn't, like, I have no idea if you copied this or not off of someone else. So that's kind of why I highly recommend getting your own data and asking yourself question after question. Best way to learn Tableau on your own, I would highly recommend the course I have on my YouTube channel. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, you, I would say, you know, like any advice, right? You can't blindly follow it. Trust the process also kind of like depends on you having a good process. And having a good process is more, it's kind of a trial and error thing. So, like I would say with any advice, if anyone gives you any advice ever, you know, take it with a grain of salt and like see how does this like apply to my life. I can only really give advice that like kind of worked for me. For me, trusting the process of just like regularly studying, building up my skills, and showing people that I really did care about the work I was doing was very helpful. All right, so I think I'm going to call it quits now. I would say this isn't true. I would say So actually, this is a really good point over here. So like, I guess like, it seems like I arbitrarily answer questions, and I think the thought process behind me answering questions. Usually, I answer questions that I haven't been asked before, because there are way more questions here than I can answer, right? So I can only answer a subsection of them. I answer questions that I haven't asked before. I answer questions that have a lot more detail to them. So like, people will ask me like very like broad questions that are impossible to answer without asking a bunch of follow-up questions. So for example, this is a good question over here. Tips for phone interviews, right? Like, this person didn't just say tips for interviews. They said tips for phone interviews. And then they talked about like market data, right? Like, so I'm like, okay, I have like a basic idea of like what they're talking about over here. But there are other questions which aren't very specific at all. So your question needs to be specific. Your question needs to be usually something that I haven't answered before. I do repeat answer quite a bit, but like usually something I haven't answered before, because we have a lot of regulars on this live stream, and I want to make sure that they're getting new information as well. New questions help everyone. And I don't answer questions from people who keep spamming the chat, just because like that's not helpful for anyone. It's just annoying, honestly, you know. So don't spam the chat if you want me to answer your question. Maybe like ask it a second time, because I do miss stuff every once in a while. But people who spam the chat, I don't answer their questions at all. So I hope that people don't think this. And I hope people understand that I have a process by which I answer questions. And there are way more questions here than I can actually answer. So just a couple things I wanted to note. Rohit, I have more questions than I can. There are more questions here than I can answer. So if you don't have your question answered, feel free to like show up on the live stream next time. I think I will probably do one tomorrow as well. So just a recommendation for people, like, you know, come regularly, and we'll usually get the questions answered. But as you guys can see, like, we have like easily over 100 questions over here. I can't answer every single one. Otherwise, I'd be here for 3 hours. All right, let's see. I will answer one more question and then head out. Okay. Where do you recommend to show off your work and get offers? LinkedIn is my favorite resource for that. LinkedIn and GitHub are useful, because if you have a good GitHub history, it shows that you're working on this regularly, like working on your skill regularly, which I definitely highly respect. So I would say LinkedIn and GitHub are probably the best places to see that. Oh, and Troy R, like, one piece of advice I always give people is go and meet as many people as you can and ask them what are like one of the biggest problems they have at the company, and just start like noting that stuff down. Usually when you just start a job, you won't have enough information, or you won't have that much work really. And this is a great opportunity for you to like get to know more about the company. But be very clear that like you're not like there to fix the problem. Like when you're asking them the problem, like you're not going to fix it tomorrow. But just ask them what is the biggest problem that they have. I find that to be very good advice. All right, so yes, sir, Raw Vlogs. Make sure to subscribe to the live stream. Let's see. Oh, sweet. Well, thank you so much. Oh, hey, Shyam, great to see you again. Also another thing. If you show up to the live streams regularly, I start to recognize your name, and I'm going to answer the people that like show up to the live streams regularly, for sure. You know, like yeah. So that's just another piece of advice. Well, thank you so much, Shyam. It's great to hear from you again. I'm trying to see if there is. This is a really good question. Okay, so as with everything, I will always say I don't work in India. I've never worked in India, and I don't know many people who work in India. So I will say, like, I very much have like experience in the American market. So I can give you advice, but you have to understand that it may not be accurate to your if you don't work in the U.S. Or Canada, honestly. Sales to business analyst role, I would highly recommend going to picking up skills. Pick up a Tableau skill. Tableau is a great skill. Tableau or Power BI are great skills for a business analyst. And do an internal transfer if you can. Those are the two things I would highly recommend. And see, this is kind of the thing I've like noticed with Asian markets. There's like this obsession with technical skills. So in your market, you might have to pick up more technical skills in order to stand out. So yeah. According to you, should we learn more math about a particular library? Oh yeah, so like Raw Vlogs, for example, is here like all the time. particular library classes, I would recommend. I don't know if there are any stats models is probably the one that you want to learn. Stats models, and yeah, stats models is probably the really good one you want to learn. So I highly recommend that. Oh, Praveen, yeah, you asked a question earlier about a data science job. Yeah, and that's kind of like the point I want to make. Like it's I can bring on someone like an experienced person from the Indian market, but the Indian market is so different from the American one. So if people are asking me like very specific questions about getting a job in the Indian market, I can't really answer that, at least not accurately, because I've never worked there. So that's just a heads up. Pricing data science and analytics position at Nordstrom. So I would highly recommend you go and start working on talk about what optimization work you've done. Pricing is all about optimization. Talk about understanding the customer. So see if you can like find a mini project you can do where you have to understand customer details and understand optimization problems. Pricing is all about that. So I hope that's useful, Praveen. All right, guys. So I did say I needed to leave about 20 minutes ago, so I'm definitely going to call it quits right now. Thank you guys so much for joining. I hope to have a better, maybe, you know what, I might post like a poll on Twitter where people can like submit their questions over there, and then the most upvoted questions are the ones I answer first. That way, if you have a question, you can submit it over there. Like, I need to find a better way to organize all this stuff. But thank you guys so much for joining, and I hope you guys have a great day.